Welcome back to News Geelong. We continue our football segment down at Cardinia Park, as you can see behind me. But before we get to head coach Chris Scott, after another win in the AFL, we'll speak to VFL up-and-coming talent Thomas Gribble. Well, Tom, unfortunately, Geelong's lost 2 games in a row. Could you tell us much about the Casey defeat?
Yeah, yesterday was pretty disappointing. I mean, we probably played one good quarter of footy in the last quarter. I mean, first 3 quarters, Nida sort of got into us about not playing team footy and sticking to the structures and playing our roles. And that third quarter, they kicked 11 goals to 3 or something and probably killed the contest in the end, and that's where they won it. So the last quarter was good, but couldn't get the job done in the end.
You're still in the top 4, which is good for Geelong fans. How have you found your development in your first year in the VFL?
Yeah, I've been pretty pleased with my own form, and the coaches are really good. Worked with Nigel Latham pretty closely. And yeah, still in the top 4. It was disappointing to drop from 1st to 4th, obviously, but yeah, that happens, and we'll bounce back, I'm sure.
Well, you had a very good game. I can tell you that for a fact because I saw it. Unfortunately, your teammate and former schoolmate Zach Sherman didn't have the greatest of VFL debuts. Could you tell us what happened there?
Oh, he was having a ripper first half, actually, Zach. He played 1.5 quarters probably, and then halfway through the second, obviously, I think he broke his ankle, clean snap, so I think he's in plaster 4 to 6 weeks now, and then should be back probably in 8 weeks, I reckon. So yeah, obviously disappointing for Zach, but he acquitted himself quite well at the level, and unfortunately got injured.
Looking to the positives, though, of the season, there's still many games to go, both VFL level and also GFL, because I believe you played a few senior games for Geelong West this year.
Yeah, I've played 3 games for Geelong West. It's been good. Terry Bright's a good coach. He's taken me under his wing a bit. He wants me to be down here as much as possible, but when I'm back at West, you know, really takes an interest and plays me in the best position for my development and all that. So, yeah, it's been good.
Well, we do hope for your development that you'll stick more VFL games in than GFL. Would you mind telling the fans when the next match is?
Yeah, next week we're at Windy Hill, 1 o'clock Saturday. So I think it's, yeah, the AFL team obviously you play that night. So if you can get out there to support us, that'd be good, because support's always good. So yeah.
Thank you very much for your time, Tom.
No worries, Alex.
Thanks for that, Tom, and all the best with your recovery, Zach. Well, we remain at Cardinia Park for that moment you've all been waiting for every Friday night. Our press conference with Chris Scott, head coach of the Geelong Football Club.
Yeah, it's an exciting time for the town as well. It's going to add another dimension to footy in Geelong, and in some ways we're sort of moving into a new era. So it's nice to be a part of a little bit of history. It's great for the footy club, but I think it's even better for the people of Geelong. Yeah, well, it's just so different. I mean, it's, you know, you see the light towers on the horizon, you know, from almost every angle of Geelong, and you know, people in Geelong love their footy, and you know, we've probably been starved of the opportunity that the big cities have had for a little while, and I think it's a welcome change in addition to the footy community. We assume it'll be a little bit more slippery. Fortunately for the Gold Coast, they're used to that with the humid conditions up there, but it's going to be a fraction colder, I would have thought. So that might advantage us a little bit. Look, I think we've played at the ground under construction for a little while, so I think, you know, the atmosphere is going to be so much better than it has been for the last 18 months. Even training with the new stand-up and the lights up adds a slightly different dimension to us. So, you know, all the players are looking forward to it and falling over themselves to get selected in our 22 this week. Yeah, I guess, yeah, it helps. Gary's a much-loved figure in Geelong. Certainly within our footy club as well, we've got a lot of respect for the player that he has been, not only, you know, as a Geelong person, but you know, the levels he's taken his game to since he left. So you know, we're hoping that we can somehow limit him this week. It's a big ask, but you know, we would expect that our supporters will still have a level of respect for him that's appropriate given his standing in the game. Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit of history in Geelong. It's important for the footy club and important for the town. So we we've got to take in the context of the wider season, and it's important that we keep playing well and trying to improve our game. But I think our players have a record of performing well on the big stage. This is a slightly different stage, but big nonetheless. Yeah, it's exciting, but we didn't look at the draw and think that the second half was massively easier than the first half. Obviously, we did have a tough start, but where we played didn't really factor into that. It was more the quality of the opposition early on. So, we do play well at home. There's no doubt about that, but we'd like to think we played pretty well at other venues as well. They'll give us more than something to think about. Yeah, they've got quality players across every line. One out-and-out champion and a big group of players that are going to be approaching that status within the next few years, we expect. They were very good against Hawthorn, and we expect them to bring at least that level again. Yeah, in so much as I think about them, which isn't all that much. Although that's not entirely true. We do think about where they're going to be in 2015-16, and we would expect the two expansion teams will be as hard to beat as anyone. It's a matter of how quickly they get to that level. It might be a little bit before that 4 or 5 year period. It might be a little bit after, but they will get there. I think we've just got to accept that that's a given. So at some point they're going to really turn it on and play great footy against the best teams, and some might argue that already happened last week. That we've got to do our best to make sure that they don't continue it this week. No, he is in the mix, yeah. Yeah, we had a plan with Vards that was always a little bit fluid. We weren't locked into certain parts of it, except that he would have an extended run in the VFL, which he's had. We will strongly consider bringing him in either this week or next week. We haven't quite made that decision yet, but yeah, it would be highly unlikely if he didn't play AFL footy before the bye. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit hesitant with some of our long-term injured players. Obviously, we were all ecstatic when Dan Menzel got back to playing, and then we were all disappointed at the outcome. Josh Cowan's had a horrible run, came back and played VFL footy on the weekend. He's hurt his hamstring a little bit, so he's going to miss a few weeks. So it kind of tempers our enthusiasm a little bit. But Nathan has been first class with his approach to his rehab and has played really well at VFL footy. So we can have the utmost confidence that when he comes in, he's going to play very good AFL football as opposed to just coming in and being a bit part player. No, he's done enough ruck work at VFL level to be able to contribute there as well. I'd be surprised if we take him in as the number one ruckman and ask Nathan to shoulder most of the load. He'll have some help if he does do some ruck work, but it's also nice to have the luxury of knowing he can play as a genuine forward too. No, not this week. No. So now he's missed quite a bit of footy. The focus is squarely around a program that gets him back to playing his best footy for the last part of the season, the last 8 to 10 weeks. So we won't be making any short-term decisions that compromise that. He is improving and he's getting better, and there's a good chance that he could play some footy this week, next week, but it just won't be high game time in the AFL. Yeah, there is a little bit. Yeah, he's got a bit of a sore knee that we'll have to have a good hard think about. If there's any concern that that could be something that might linger, then we won't play him. So we haven't made that decision yet, but it's very much on the cards. Yeah, it was. Him being subbed out had almost nothing to do with the knock he got on his elbow, and more to do with his longer term management. We're comfortable with that decision. He's feeling better because of it, and he will definitely play this week. Not sure. Billy Smeds is in a pretty good position, given that after the game 2 weeks ago, he was virtually ruled out for a game on the weekend, and at the last minute, he just came to hand so quickly that we had to strongly consider playing him, but decided to be safe there. So you'd think that he would be available, and then Hall and Smith and Caddy we're still not sure about. So yeah, I'd say Smeds is ahead of the other two, but there is some possibility all three could come back. I haven't really wasted too much time thinking about it, and I think that's the approach that most people should take to the match review panel. Like, if you try to work it out, you'll just tear your hair out and end up very confused and frustrated. I think they are so inconsistent that any sort of predictions when it comes to the match review panel are a waste of time. No, he's a big boy. He can work it out. Yeah, he's a certainty to come back in. Yep. No, our planning's really long term. So when the fixture comes out, we put a lot of work into where we play, who we play, the timing of things, where we might train a little less, where we might do a little bit more. And in some respects, that's kind of locked in with the wider group. Then it comes back to, if you talk about our player management, it's more around managing injury risk. So we don't rest players just for the sake of it. We look at the condition of our players, their physical condition, and then manage them accordingly. And as I've said here a number of times, if we have players that are a slight concern, we tend to be conservative with them. Yeah, it depends on the individual. So we don't take, while we do have a sort of overall plan for the whole list, we tend to look more closely at the individuals within it. So the longer break through the middle of the season will be an opportunity for some players to train a little bit more and get a bit more work in preparation for the latter part of the season. For other players, it'll involve a bit more downtime and rejuvenation. But we are constantly in slightly different training phases. This week is different to last week, and in 4 weeks' time it'll be different again. No. This year's a little bit different. We won't be going up early as we have done in previous years, and that's mainly because of the timing of the bye. Most of our players will get that mental break, so we don't want to force them to have fun on our terms.
Well, that's it for sport this weekend. As you can see behind me, the lights are already on. Tomorrow night, the Geelong Football Club will host the Gold Coast Football Club for the first ever AFL match under lights in the history of this proud stadium. I'll be there. I hope to see all you guys there. Back to you, Rollo.
Thank you, Alex. Another top round of sports info and the titillation of tomorrow night at Kardinia Park. Thank you for joining us once more on News Geelong. Hope you enjoyed the program. Hold on, a hot one off the press. From the land of the pouncing, bouncing kangaroos at Anglesea. Lucas Murphy, a very polished forward, has been re-signed by Anglesea for another season in 2014 to coach the Anglesea club. That's confidence, and well done to retiring President David Cook, the man of many talents, who has overseen the redevelopment of the magnificent Anglesea club rooms at Alcoa Reserve and the overcoming of the long-running problem associated with the sewage disposal. That is what I call being an entrepreneur while still cleaning up the dung. Well done, Cookie. Don't forget the GDFL ladies tomorrow morning netball program at 8 a.m, followed by Digital Dick and the Little Insect Grubbycations. Yes, he's back with cream on his face. Happy birthday, Grubby. To all our faithful viewers, enjoy a safe week in whatever you are involved with. And from the hotline, if you are on the punt at the weekend, Jim's special is at Sandown Hillside, race 7, horse number 8, Shadowfax. To the Connolly crew down at the Geelong RSL, hope you're continuing to enjoy grandparenting. Keep up the yellow room work for the Johnson collection. And remember, take your time and smell the flowers. From all the team at News Geelong, stay safe and a very good night.